And as we get older, we tend to get more and more and more set in our ways because we've been doing it for a long time and that's what works. We're comfortable with that type of lifestyle. But you have to release your mind from negative outside forces that may monopolize it. Try to gain respect for your mind because it dictates every aspect of your physical body. And really, it's the one thing that's truly yours. But there's so many influences that try to take that one thing away from you. So you have to put yourself in the driver's seat. Controlling yourself is your undeniable privilege that nobody has the right to take away from you. Regardless of the old cliche, the world does revolve around you to an extent. You see through your own eyes. You know what events led up to you making the decisions that you did. So you have to, but there's a responsibility behind this. You have to be prepared to deal with the consequences of your decisions whenever the end of your life is approaching. Imagine going on vacation. Now, would you let somebody else decide where you want to go or what you want to see? Of course not. So I'm gonna give an example. I'm gonna plan your next vacation for you, but you're gonna pay for it because I don't have the money to do it. But I'm gonna plan it for you though. First, you have to go to Canada because you're gonna love the mountains. You're gonna love the mountains. Then you have to go to Kansas because they grow corn there, and it's important for us. And it's a future fuel that's renewable, and you got to have respect for that. So you have to go to Kansas and see miles and miles and miles and miles of corn. Then your vacation is not a vacation until you go to Vegas. You have to go to Vegas. Now, what would you tell a person if they're using your money and planning your vacation to go to places that you may or may not necessarily want to see? What would you tell them? You tell them to get lost? So you may or may not enjoy going to these places, but you wouldn't be content with letting somebody else decide what your priorities are or what your destinations are. So we don't want to be driven. We want to get in the driver's seat and take control of our own lives. We are all complex. Some people are subconsciously intimidated with the complexity of their own mind that they let other influences gain control and manipulate them. Before they can figure out answers on themselves, they turn to other people to tell their answers to them. So, for many, this might even be the right decision. Because of different circumstances, it might make it difficult for them to make the right decision at that time. So, you know, if you need help with something, finding help from an outside person is not necessarily a bad thing. But another thing we have to think about, are they actually as qualified or to handle or to deal with personal situations that we've gone through? Have they seen life through our eyes? So it's like a witness in a court case. They might not be really as qualified to analyze our situation because we've seen everything. I'm going to give the example of a woman who went on a diet. Now, she works a full-time job. She takes care of the tasks around the home. She has to fit in some time to complete her exercise program. And she managed to lose 30 pounds. But one day she was in the grocery store. And she heard some people talking. She's got fat, you know, overweight. So what just happened? This lady who worked so hard to make the accomplishments that she didn't give her the respect that she deserved for doing what she did. But nobody knew that but her. She knew what she did to get to that point, but they didn't know that. So we have a responsibility to show people respect because we don't know what led a person to end up in the situation that they are, and we don't know what they're doing. Right? So we must not discriminate against people.
That's true.
Because when we do this, we display our own ignorance because it's apparent that we don't have respect for our fellow man or woman as an individual. As an able-bodied human being with a sound mind, I believe that we should show respect for ourselves as well as others. In order to reach our full potential, we must show respect to others. As you gain confidence in your abilities and ideas, well, things that were inside of you the whole time will be revealed. And your future is strongly influenced by the decisions that you make right now. Because of certain choices that you have made, parts of your future have already been determined. It's almost like they've already happened. For instance, I'm going to have children in the future. I'm going to be a grandfather. If things go the way they're going. But you see my point, right? Things are going to be the way they are because of things that you've decided in the past. Most of us are familiar with the saying, if you put your mind to it, you can accomplish anything. So having a strong and clear mind can make it possible for you to predict or even predetermine your future to an extent. The less thing you have caught in your judgment or vision, the better your ability to make logical decisions will be. And you know something? You cannot have complete dependency on outside forces to meet your goals. You have to have a plan A, B, or C just in case something falls through. All right, let's see. Let's just say I had a ball. I can't find anything to throw at anybody.
Thank goodness.
But if I was just to say, hey, and just throw it at you, and expect you to catch it, chances are you might miss it completely. It might not even make it to you, right? So that's kind of like setting a bad goal, having unrealistic expectations. Just throw it in any direction, but not really. It's not really a sure thing. It's a good chance that it's going to fall through. So if I say, hey Chuck, I'm going to throw this ball at you, and will you catch it? Okay, I'm going to throw it at you. It's still a good chance that he's going to miss it, right? It's still a good chance. So setting proper goals is like taking steps towards your destination. And instead of throwing, just hand it to him. Hand it to him. So you have to take the right steps and put your goals in motion. You have to put everything in motion. And that will assure you, I'll give you a lot better chance to just, crossing your fingers. So, all right, we have another example here that I want you to see. And I bet you won't figure out what this is.